And joining me now from Canberra is Greens politician Sarah Hanson-Young and Liberal MP Jason Falinski. Welcome to both of you.
Hey Sharri, how are you?
Welcome Sharri.
Great.
Welcome Jason.
Hey Sarah.
Now to the breaking news that we've had tonight, that Bridget McKenzie has finally resigned. A key discrepancy that's emerging and that's going to be examined in the coming days is whether pork barrelling did in fact occur. The Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet Secretary Phil Gaetjens found that there was nothing wrong with how this program was implemented, and Bridget McKenzie's only crime, if you like, or failing was that she breached ministerial standards by failing to declare she was a membership. She had membership to a gun club, which she then signed off on funding for. Sarah Hanson-Young, what do you make of this announcement from the Prime Minister this afternoon?
Well, I think this is a shocking announcement by the government, because what this shows is the Prime Minister has failed again to take any responsibility or to show leadership for the behaviour of his government. Bridget McKenzie has effectively been the sacrificial lamb this afternoon. She's been thrown under the bus by the Prime Minister in a desperate plea to cover his own backside. And really, everybody knows the problem the public have with this, the problem colleagues, parliamentary colleagues, the reason commentators have a problem with what has occurred is not because of Bridget McKenzie's membership of a club. It's because this program was run as a rort. It was gamed, it was rigged, and it was done so to try and win seats for the coalition at the election. And it's plain as day. And for the Prime Minister to get his old former Chief of Staff to come in and write a report to try and avoid the very clear and damning findings that the Auditor General came forward with, it just beggars belief. I mean, does anyone really believe that the Prime Minister's former Chief of Staff should be any more independent than the Auditor General? I mean, give me a break. It's been a rort, it's been gamed, and now Bridget McKenzie has been the fall guy for this government. The Prime Minister today has shown absolutely no leadership, weak leadership. Bridget McKenzie at least has resigned and fallen on her sword. The Prime Minister today stood there and pretended that the concerns that people have do not exist. It's becoming a bit of a habit of this Prime Minister to pretend that the concerns the public have don't exist, not to answer questions and to avoid taking responsibility.
Jason, just to get your response to this allegation from Sarah Hanson-Young that effectively Phil Gaetjens' report was a political one and one that gave Scott Morrison the finding that he wanted. What do you think about this?
Well, I think Sarah's response is just an incredibly disappointing one. She's been calling for Bridget McKenzie to resign for 2 weeks. She has done that tonight. Her slur is an outrageous slur on a highly decorated public servant in Australia. Phil Gaetjens has served Australians and the Australian public service his entire life at, I imagine, great personal cost. And for her to question his integrity is frankly just outrageous.
No, I'm questioning the Prime Minister's integrity and the lack of leadership from the Prime Minister. You know, if you're a leader, you don't throw your deputies under the bus just to cover your own backside and to save your own skin. And that's what's happened. It's clear as day. Everybody can see it for what it is. And I guess, Parliament's coming back this week, and if the Prime Minister thinks that doing this, dumping Bridget McKenzie, is going to make this issue go away, he's dreaming.
Jason,
the public have got questions and they deserve answers.
Was Bridget a scapegoat, Jason?
Scapegoat for what, Sharri? I mean, Bridget, there's been an inquiry. We do still have due process in this country. It has been undertaken by a public servant that is held in the highest of esteem by everyone, but it appears Sarah. He has made a finding that the program and her actions were entirely legal, but that she breached the Ministerial Code of Conduct by not noting that she was a member of the gun club when she awarded her payments. Bridget has done the honourable thing and resigned from both the ministry and her leadership position, and we as a government will get on with the job of providing better sporting facilities right around Australia.
But, Sarah, when the estimates hearing and inquiry into this is held, what exactly is it that you are going to be after?
Well, I think the big problem here is that the government thinks that the rorting of this program is just a-okay, that this is that
Sharri,
nothing
I really have to
untoward
stop
has
here.
gone on.
We've had allegation after allegation from Sarah that there was rorting. There is no finding of rorting by either the Auditor General or by Phil Gagins. And really, it's either time for those that are making those accusations to either put up or shut up, because there's just not evidence of that. There was simply no single program that was funded under this program that was not properly and justifiably assessed by Sport Australia. Now, if people want to complain about the order in which the funding was made, that's fair enough. But to claim that there was rorting is just outrageous, and it is a slur on the hard-working public servants at Sport Australia who undertook these assessments. And even the Auditor General found that the program was properly framed and was properly assessed. So that's what happened here. Elected officials are allowed to make decisions on advice from the public servants, and Bridget McKenzie made the outrageous decision, apparently, according to those on the left, that she preferred women's change rooms to the refitting of a roller derby.
Now, look, I just want to, because we'll be here all night, if I leave it between you two, can I just move on to another story?
Can I suggest you started it, Sharri?
Oh, of course, that is my job. Now, there was a big story in the papers today in the Sunday Telegraph by Linda Somalis that Scott Morrison's representative on the Liberal State Executive, Alex Hawke, who's the head of his factional support base, has blocked anti-corruption measures to ban property developers from becoming councillors. The Friday afternoon meeting descended into 4 hours of chaos, with Alex Hawke getting into shouting matches with his opponents. Jason, just starting with you on this, what do you know about what went down on Friday afternoon, and what is going on here? Why would Morrison's representative on the ground, Alex Hawke, protect property developers and block these anti-corruption measures?
Look, I find this report impossible to believe.
It's true. I've checked it out.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, I still find it incredibly difficult to understand what's going on then. I'm not a member of State Executive. As I understand it, the President put forward an integrity initiative which was that if you are a property developer, you cannot seek Liberal Party endorsement to run for council or stand at Liberal Party pre-selection for council. We have seen in New South Wales, in particular in Western Suburbs councils, the problem when property developers do get elected to councils and the corruption that can occur. I'm not making a slight on property developers. They do important roles and important work, but the appearance and the actual problem with this has been manifested over so many years in New South Wales. It just seems to me impossible to believe that State Executive would not have waved this through as a fait accompli.
So what's behind this? What's behind Alex Hawke's move?
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask, if it's true, if Alex did do this, and as I say, I find it hard to believe.
I've confirmed it's true.
You'd have to ask Alex, because I'm sure that Alex, who I know quite well, would always be in favour of integrity measures and making sure that we have the highest level of integrity amongst our candidates, whether they be standing for federal, state or local government.
Is this a factional play? Is this a factional play?
Oh, well, look, there are factions in all political parties, but I think that integrity is above factional politics, in particular in the Liberal Party and in particular in New South Wales, because we've seen in the Labor Party what happens when you put factional politics above integrity.
Just very, very quickly to get Sarah's view on this before we have to take a break. Sarah, do you think property developers should be allowed to be councillors?
Look, I think there's huge problems with this, and I think Jason's obviously, says he hasn't heard anything about this. I'll take that at face value, Jason. But you've got a good political gut if that's the case, because obviously this is not the type of move that would go down well or will go down well with the community. They want more integrity in politics, not less. We should get property developers' money out of politics, not more. And I question whether, if this is true as Sharri says, really what is going on in the Prime Minister's office and around his circle when it comes to the issue of integrity, whether it's not taking responsibility for these rorts, whether it's having his right-hand man out there arguing against integrity measures, or indeed continuing to cover for Angus Taylor with all of the question marks hanging over his head.
Look, I had wanted to get into nuclear energy and emissions with both of you, but unfortunately we are out of time and have to go to a break. The news on Bridget McKenzie, of course, delayed us. Sarah and Jason, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Sharri. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, guys.